13 News Now begins with breaking news.
All right, and that breaking news brings us to Hampton, where police are investigating a shooting.
Officers tell us a woman was found with several gunshot wounds just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. The shooting happened on Lynn Haven Drive. 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd is there live for us. And Robert, what do we know about the woman's condition?
Well, David, last we heard is she is in the hospital fighting for her life once again after getting shot multiple times this afternoon right here on Lynn Haven Drive. Behind us, there are evidence markers in the middle of the street. We believe that is where her body ended up. Again, this all took place right in the middle of the afternoon around 2:45 today. Police say they arrived on a shots fired call, quickly realized that it was a domestic violence dispute between two people. Now, according to neighbors, it appears it was this woman and her boyfriend who lived together possibly in that house right outside where the shooting took place. And it appears that, again, they were arguing. That argument got heated very quickly, and both people, the man and woman, pulled out guns and started firing at each other. And again, that is when the woman was hit. The man involved was not injured. He is being detained for questioning. Right now, no arrest, though, in this case. And police just, have a lot to do right here as far as interviewing witnesses, because we do know the family of this woman is on scene. They declined to comment with 13 News Now, but we know they're here. They've been speaking with police, neighbors speak with police, and they're just trying to figure out exactly what took place this afternoon. And right now, that woman fighting for her life in the hospital. If we get new information, we will bring it to you. Live in Hampton, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
All right, and this just into the newsroom. Democrat Shelley Simons appears to have won a Virginia House of Delegates seat by a single vote. That's according to the unofficial recount results. Election officials recounted 24,000 ballots in the 94th district. That's in Newport News. They recounted them today. Simons called for the recount in the race against Republican David Yancey, in which Simons lost by 10 votes. We caught up with Simons earlier today about her goals should she win.
I would like to try to work across the aisle with Republicans on things like parental leave for our teachers and our school system and increasing funding in the next budget.
Now, if this recount is certified, Republicans and Democrats would share control of the House of Delegates. In a recount last week in Fairfax County, a Republican delegate held on to his seat. 2 more recounts are scheduled for tomorrow and Thursday. House Republican leaders released a statement saying, quote, "We congratulate Delegate-elect Simons and welcome her to this historic body. We also thank Delegate David Yancey for his distinguished service."
A 3-year-old pit bull named Zulu is out of surgery tonight after he rescued his family during an attempted burglary this week. On Sunday night, 4 suspects tried to break into a Virginia Beach police officer's home. Zulu chased them off and was shot. 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves is live outside Blue Pearl Veterinary Partners in Virginia Beach. And Stephen, how is Zulu doing?
Well, Janet, wait till you see the video. He's doing very well, out of surgery, up and walking, very upbeat. You wouldn't even think anything happened to him. Now, that officer and his wife, they're sitting out here just crediting this dog for saving their family's lives. This was the latest picture we saw of Pitbull Zulu hooked up to tubes, awaiting surgery. His mom and dad anxiously standing by.
I know he's strong enough that he's going to pull through.
The 3-year-old dog was shot once last Sunday on Gravenhurst Drive, warding off burglars while Virginia Beach police officer Scurry and his daughter were in the house.
Well, we got him for the purpose of protection. We wanted a protector for our family and most importantly our daughter.
And protect he did. The burglars ran off but left behind heartache for Officer Scurry's wife and the rest of the family.
But I saw, blood.
Yes.
And it was very scary seeing that.
So today,
I'm here to see Zulu.
A post-surgery reunion, no fear in Zulu's eyes, even around us strangers, just happiness. Up and walking despite the bandages and apparent wounds.
You're acting like normal Zulu right now. So
the dog deemed the GOAT greatest of all time by Officer Scurry, a 4-legged hero to his wife.
He saved my daughter's life, he saved my husband's life. It could have been either of them that got shot.
The big guy is now expected home by Christmas, giving the gift of gratefulness and security to the one who normally does the protecting. And so that officer told us today that all 4 suspects were actually in custody now. Now the vet bills for the surgery around the holidays, he says, could reach up to $12,000. So if you do feel compelled to donate, you can call Blue Pearl here in Virginia Beach, or he has a GoFundMe link. We're going to put that on 13newsnow.com. Reporting live in Virginia Beach, I'm Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
New information tonight. A third person now has been arrested in a deadly double shooting that happened in Gloucester County. 26-year-old Charlie Riley is now charged with felony accessory. The charges are related to the deaths of Eleni Wright-Bonnett and Helga Frost. 22-year-old Amanda Epps and 39-year-old Kenneth Miller were previously arrested and charged with first-degree murder in the deaths.
Now to that deadly train derailment in Washington State. The debut ride of Amtrak 501 was tragically cut short Monday morning. It was making its way along a faster route between Seattle and Portland. All but one of its 13 train cars derailed. Many of them crashed onto the interstate below.
It was almost like being inside a dryer machine. It was probably the best visual I could give to it. It was pretty violent. Shook completely to the other side of the train and then back.
Early findings from the data recorder show the train was traveling at speeds of 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Authorities are now looking into why positive train control wasn't activated. It works kind of like autopilot to slow down trains if they're going too fast. Officials say it was installed on the tracks, but for some reason wasn't used. With so many questions regarding speed in that train crash, 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee is in the studio looking into how speed is controlled on transportation here in Hampton Roads.
Well, Janet, the biggest question regarding that train derailment is how a train was going 80 miles an hour in a 30 miles an hour zone. It made us wonder about speeds here locally. We decided to take a look at the Tide light rail and what measures are put into place so something like that deadly train derailment doesn't happen here. The Tide light rail spans throughout all of Norfolk, carrying more than 4,500 passengers on average daily. So we wanted to look into speed. It can go up to 55 miles an hour in certain areas, but how is that determined?
Elevation, the environment in the urban setting, interaction with traffic signals.
Tom Holden is a spokesperson for Hampton Roads Transit. While the light rail is different from an Amtrak train in terms of speed and travel distance, they both carry passengers.
There are, standard safety protocols that all transportation agencies follow. Training, obey speed limits, follow the signs.
So I wanted to learn more about the operators. While speed limits are set, operators don't always follow them, which is what happened in Washington State yesterday. So what's in place here in Norfolk?
Street supervisors assist in maintaining the consistent speeds, and we do that with radar guns to make sure the operators are running at the appropriate speed.
In regards to that Amtrak train derailment, investigators discovered it didn't have a system called positive train control activated, which automatically slows down the train if it's going too fast. But light rail doesn't have it either. Holden says it doesn't need it because Amtrak trains are much more complex.
These are entirely different kind of transportation systems that require a much higher level of automation to really oversee the operations of people.
The Federal Railroad Administration is the federal agency that regulates the speed limits of trains. I wanted to know, number one, how do they determine the speed limits in various places? But more importantly, how is it enforced? Are there any regulations in place to make sure trains are going the speed they're supposed to? I'll tell you about their response coming up on 13 News Now at 6. Live in studio, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
New at 5, it's not so much what he said, but what he didn't. We're talking about President Trump and 2 words he left out of his newly laid out national security strategy. Those words are climate change. For the first time in at least 14 years, the phrase is not listed as a threat to the country. Mike Gooding joins us now with reaction from a local expert.
Well, and David, ODU has been a national leader on climate change and sea level rise for years. The school's director of coastal resilience research, Ray Toll, says there's no doubt there is a connection between ongoing changes to our coastlines and national defense. When it rains, it pours, and nobody knows that better than the 301,000 active duty reserve retirees and civil servants who must try to get in and out of Hampton Roads' 5 major naval installations during storms. Sometimes the roads are just impassable.
And this is not just big storms, it's garden variety thunderstorms is what I like to say. In the summer, because they happen almost every day. So you're going to have impacts like that almost on a daily basis, depending upon how humid the atmosphere is.
Yet, despite that, President Trump, in laying out his new national security strategy, has now deleted climate change from the list of worldwide threats facing the United States.
The problem isn't going to go away. All we're going to do is continue to see more and more frequent storms that are going to impact our region.
Retired Navy Captain Ray Toll holds a Master's of Science in Meteorology and Oceanography from the Naval Postgraduate School and serves as Old Dominion University's Director of Coastal Resilience Research. He says there is a direct link between recurrent flooding and the military's ability to fight wars and defend the nation.
Absolutely. The Navy's job here at Norfolk is to man, train, and equip. If you can't get your crews to the ships and train them and get ready to fight the global war on terror, you slow down the ability to move forward to forward deployed areas, which is the Navy's mission.
So needless to say, this is a pretty big change in policy for the United States. As far back as 2003, during George W. Bush's presidency, a report commissioned by the Department of Defense said abrupt climate change threatened disruption and conflict, refugee crisis, border tensions, and more military conflicts. Reporting live, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.